Hello everyone, this is Lincoln Prime, and today we are taking a look at the S.H.MonsterArts 1954 Godzilla. Now, this is actually not the original S.H.MonsterArts 54, this is actually the current reissue, or the recent reissue, I should say. So it is pretty much the same figure, there shouldn't be any differences, but there may be some differences in QC, I'm not really too sure. I never owned the original figure. This was honestly just, you know, I found it recently in person and I was like, ooh, I need to get this, I need to pick it up. Because I did really want to pick up the SH54, and so I'm glad that I was able to have a second chance of getting it. So here he is. Now, I do want to go over the box that this figure came with, and it is very, very nice looking. I do really like the old S.H.MonsterArts style packaging with like the kind of like, you know, like I guess rips and tears in the box with the clear plastic, and it looks very nice. Now, I mean, when you're looking at the figure on the inside, he's covered pretty much with like this plastic wrap, so it's kind of hard to see the figure on the inside, especially with all the reflectiveness going on. But you know, it's very nice. I do like the open style packaging. I prefer it over, like, you know, when it's like completely covered and then there's like either a window on the back of the box or no window at all. But yeah, it does look very nice. We get a picture of Godzilla on the front, Gojira, Bandai Namco. We do get the 2023 seal right here, and next year will be the 70th anniversary, so I guess that's why they re-released it, I guess. But yep, get another seal of approval here. Tamashii Nations, Bandai, and then 1954 Godzilla, S.H.MonsterArts, and all that kind of stuff. On the bottom we get Gojira on you know, the bottom, of course, we get some words and things I cannot read, and on the side we get Godzilla 1954 S.H.MonsterArts. On the other side we get a very goofy looking Godzilla right there. Godzilla S.H.MonsterArts 1954. Once again, on the back of the box we get these pictures of the figure itself, which look very, very nice. Godzilla 1954, Gojira, S.H.MonsterArts, and a bunch of stuff, and then we get a picture of a guy posing the figure, I guess, I don't know. On the top we get S.H.MonsterArts and Godzilla, and that is pretty much about it for the box. And moving right along, here we have the 1954 Gojira right out of the box, and he looks absolutely fantastic. Now, S.H.MonsterArts, of course, you know, they usually take designs and they make them look a little bit more realistic. So, I mean, you have this design, which was very goofy looking in the movie, very rubbery looking as well, and they made him look a lot more rough for this, I guess you could say, adaptation of the character, and he looks and feels very, very interesting. But looking at the overall aesthetic and the overall proportions of the figure, it is very impressive in my opinion. We do get, of course, you know, you can't have a Godzilla figure without that charcoal gray to black, which looks very nice. This is supposed to capture the black and white kind of look, so there won't be any red or pink or anything like that inside the mouth or anything like that, so it will primarily be black and white essentially. But we do get all of that charcoal gray to black. We do get this very nice lightish gray for the dorsal spines going throughout the tail, which I absolutely love the look of. My only complaint is how broken up the paint for the dorsals going down the tail kind of looks, because it just kind of, it's either lighter or darker, lighter, darker, and it just kind of cuts off in a very awkward way. So that's my only true gripe when it comes to paint. But it's not a huge deal in my opinion, just something I wish they could have done a little bit of a better job on. But you do get that on both sides, and I love the way that it looks. For the eyes, we do get pretty much the white, of course, on both sides, and then the black pupils, which are painted in pretty nicely, and I would say evenly, because the thing is, like, yes, this does look goofy because they're peering off in two different directions, but I mean, when you look at it from one angle or from the other side, it's accurate. So I guess that's, you know, gonna be the sacrifice you get. And again, even with the eyes looking goofy, that's just movie accurate in general. So yeah, but you know, proportionately he's a bit on the skinnier side. I will say that. I mean, I feel like he was a little bit fatter in 54, but I mean, at the same time, this is supposed to be a little bit more creature like, so I can understand what they were going for here. Now, the teeth, I will say, are also nicely painted, as you can see, kind of opening up the mouth, which is a bit hard to do. There we go. The teeth are nicely painted, and then the inside of the mouth is also black and white, so we do have a gray tongue as well, so that is pretty nice in my humble opinion. But we don't, there's another thing that I do have a slight gripe with, but it's not also a huge deal. The nails on the fingers are not painted, they're just pitch black. So I don't know why that was, because I mean they painted the gray on the toenails, but they didn't paint the gray on the fingernails, so I don't know why they didn't do that. I mean, they were able to paint the teeth, so, but yeah, not a huge deal, just wish that was something that they did, but yeah. In terms of my gripes for paint, that's really about it. Everything else is pretty much in the clear for this figure. And I will say that this was another case of good luck, or S.H.MonsterArts good luck, because when I opened him out of the box, nothing disintegrated, nothing fell off. Like, he was in good shape, like he is not going anywhere, so that is something that is good. But yeah, so in terms of all the details and paint and all that kind of stuff, it's very nice. They didn't really do anything you know, terrible, I guess you could say. I mean, you even get like molded detail on the bottom. This is a bit annoying though, so I guess, you know, just make sure he's always on the ground so that's not showing. But yeah, but proportionately and paint wise, he looks amazing in my opinion. Now when it comes to his articulation, we do get quite a bit, but it's what you'd expect from an S.H.MonsterArts figure. He can look up that far and down that much. You can look you know, side to side. You do get motion and going side to side as well, so that is very nice. The mouth can open like so. I'm not sure if the tongue can move. It doesn't look like it can. Yeah, no, it's just molded in there, but looked like it did, but I guess it doesn't. But yeah, so we do get a lot of motion in the head itself. The abdomen area can crunch forward about that much and go back about that much, so that is pretty nice. The arms can rotate around, but I don't want to do it all the way because I don't want to like scrape the paint or damage anything. They can move they can move out about that much. There is movement in the elbow, which is limited, but you know, not terrible. And then of course we do get a ball joint in the wrist, so that can go all the way around, rotate all the way around, and yeah, so that is pretty much that. And bring that down. Only other issue when it comes to, you know, movement is there are some areas where it is a bit tight, but it is manageable. So yeah, the legs can move out about that much and in about that much, which is very nice. They can rotate forward and back, and I think I scraped something I shouldn't have scraped anyways. There is some rotation in the knee, but not a lot, so I don't recommend messing with that too much. There is a pretty nice bend at the knee, so that is always appreciated, so it can go forward that much and back that much. And then in the foot there is a segment here, and it does allow for quite a little bit of pivot in the ankle, so you know, that is pretty nice. But it can go forward that much, back that much, and rotate side to side as well, so you do have that. Now the tail is actually a lot more interesting than I expected from an S.H.MonsterArts figure, and I think I know why. But the tail has really good range, so you can, you know, move it, and you can curve it that much. Like, that's a really nice curve, and it's a very short tail too. Like, this is a lot shorter than most S.H.MonsterArts tails, and it has a really good range of movement, like way better than I could have expected. And the reason I can think as to why that is, so I'm going to pull in another S.H.MonsterArts figure just as an example. Let's see. Okay, I think this is a good example right here. So as you'll notice, the tail on 54 here has a slightly different system than what current S.H.MonsterArts have been doing, and I don't understand why they got rid of it. I mean, I have a theory as to why, but as you can see, each segment goes inside. It doesn't have you know, like a separator segment on the inside. So it's not just a segment, separator, segment, separator. It's just segment, 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 segment. So because of that, you have a lot more range. And the only reason I could think of as to why they got rid of it was to keep the paint from scraping. That's all I could really think of. For the new tail system on S.H.MonsterArts, as far as I've noticed, is that you do have segment, mid-segment, segment, mid-segment, and that's probably to keep the paint from scraping. But what I noticed is that yeah, that's another reason as to why I don't think it works very well. That's never happened before. Okay then. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it highly limits the range of how far the tail can really rotate from side to side, unfortunately. Because you can't really get a good C curve out of this. And there are times where certain segments just kind of get stuck. So you can't really move it much. Like in this mid segment right here, you can't do anything with that. I mean, yeah, you can go up and down a lot, but you can't really go side to side. So that's my problem with current S.H.MonsterArts tails. But with 54 here, it doesn't have that. And the other reason as to why I think that it works a little bit better is because the fact the tail is shorter. Because of that, I think the segments being even shorter as well make it to where there's a lot more range, and because the tail's shorter, they're able to have a lot more segments than most S.H.MonsterArts can. And I'd assume that's more of a budgeting thing. So I think just because there's smaller segments and because the tail is smaller, you do have a lot more range than most other S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla figures. So that is pretty interesting and just something that I did notice. But yeah, so yeah, very, very nice range in the tail. And articulation wise in itself is really good. In fact, I'd say a lot better than most S.H.MonsterArts figures. So yeah, so that is very, very nice. But because of all the articulation that you get, you can pull off some really nice dynamic poses with this figure. Now for a quick size comparison, here we have the S.H.MonsterArts 1954 Godzilla next to the Bandai America 1954 Godzilla, and you can see that there are some similarities in terms of, just aesthetic, but lots of differences as well. Of course, this looks a lot goofier than this does, because, this is supposed to be more of a, serious figure, and then of course this is just a soft figure, so it's not, it doesn't have that seriousness as this one does. Do you get what I'm talking about? I don't get what I'm talking about, but yeah. Of course, this one is darker than this one, and this one also has red in the mouth, which is interesting, but yeah. So there we have that comparison, and then here we have next to the NECA 1954 Godzilla. As you can see, the NECA is a lot bigger than the S.H.MonsterArts. One thing that these do have in common is that the NECA is also black and white oriented, so there is no red in the mouth, so that is pretty nice. But yeah, you can see very, very big size differences between these two. The NECA does have a slightly shorter tail from what I'm seeing, so let's see there. Yeah, NECA does have a shorter tail than the SH, but yeah, so pretty interesting there, I guess you could say. One thing is that the NECA does have painted nails, whereas this one doesn't, so that is where the NECA gets, a few more points. And this one is supposed to, emulate like a rubber suit more than this one is supposed to, so yeah, that is pretty nice. And then of course, just for some other comparisons, here we have next to the well, this one actually is a pretty ironic figure to compare him to, considering that this got turned into the thing that this guy fought. So yeah, but yeah, you have that, I guess. So there's that comparison. And just for the hell of it, here we have him next to the S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla Earth, and this is probably going to be hard to showcase because of how big this thing is, but yeah, so there you have those two together. So yeah, but there we have that comparison. And for my final comments on this figure, I would absolutely have to recommend picking this up. Considering the fact that he's been reissued, there's a lot more chances to pick this figure up. And yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Now, I did get this figure for about 80 bucks. I'd assume it goes for maybe like, 10 bucks less. The place that I bought it from, they usually charge a little bit extra for things, but I'd still say 80 is a lot better of a deal than what the original was going for, considering that, like, there was one time I saw the original out of box just for $100, and I was like, ooh. So I would say pick this up, just because now that there is more chances to just find it, it's definitely worth it. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to mess around with, and if you just want, you know, a definitive 54 Godzilla, I think this works. I mean, I don't think we're going to be seeing Showa era stuff from Hiya Toys anytime soon, so I doubt that we're going to get a Hiya 54 Goji, at least for quite a while. So, yeah, I just say bite the bullet and get it, because you're going to get some pretty cool features out of it. Now, there's no accessories or anything. The one thing that I think this could have benefited from was at least like a atomic mist accessory, because it wasn't really an atomic breath, it was just a mist. But you could probably find some kind of accessory just for that to, you know, use. But yeah, overall, really solid figure in my opinion. I do think that S.H.MonsterArts' old engineering worked a little bit better than their current engineering, especially for the tail too. Like, if this is how the tail is, then I don't know what they were thinking with a lot of their newer tails. So yeah, it's got some benefits to it, and I just have to recommend it. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much about it for this review. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.